Alright, so Waddle Waddle, this is a game I built from photographs that I took when I went to Antarctica. So,
oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
These are either my photographs or another friend of mine who is a photographer, went many times. So all the penguin cards are our work. The predator cards, these are just stock photos for the moment. I would love to get a picture of a shark like that, or an orca thrusting. But alas. So here's the basic thing. You're gonna choose one of, there are 6 penguin researchers. These are not photos, as you can see. This is placeholder artwork. I would love to make this 6 real-world penguin researchers. And maybe support their research institute or something.
Yeah.
But you pick the role of one of these scientists to play. There's a player-specific ability that triggers if you collect a set of penguins that has the species that they specialize in. And each of those is unique. And somewhat to reflect the fact that as you look around the game board, like not every penguin nests everywhere. Some penguins like the gentoos do nest everywhere. Other penguins like the Magellanics are only in one place. So for instance, the Magellanics power, if you play that researcher, is to be able to play the Magellanics elsewhere. So the locations on the map that I've chosen, these are all real locations where these penguins nest. And so in the Falkland Islands, all these kind actually nest there. And the same with South Georgia Island, Crozet, Macquarie, and then, you know, Antarctica is huge, so we've just chosen the peninsula, which if you go on an Antarctic cruise, they're going to take you down right around here.
Okay.
And so those are the penguins you're going to see. If you were to actually go on to the continent, you can see emperor penguins and other species of penguins, but they're not in my game. Alright, so it's a 2 to 6 player game. It lasts 1, 2, or 3 seasons, depending on how long you want the game to be. And a season will take about 30 minutes, regardless of how many players there are.
Okay.
And a season is going to be, we're going to go through this deck until we find all 4 of these predators that are going to get mixed into the deck. As each predator comes out, each one has a token that matches it, that has a special ability. And so if the predator comes out on your turn, instead of doing your turn, you'll take one of these tokens, you'll put it on the board, and you'll do the special ability. So the shark says, after placing the shark, move all fish here somewhere else. So these might get, I can split them up, move them around. And so what that does is, when you collect your sets of penguins, let's look at what a set looks like. So they're numerical order, or all the same species, or all the same number. 3 to 6 cards. So this is the smallest waddle I could make. 3 cards, but 2 of them are the same species, which is important because that means when I play this waddle, I can place a nest.
Okay.
But I have to place it where chin straps actually make nests. So I have to choose one of these locations on the board to play my waddle. At the end of the season, the player with the most nests in each region will get the higher number of bonus points on the token.
Okay.
And second place will get the smaller number.
Little area control kind of?
Yeah, so it's drafting and set collection with area of control. There's some hand management and push your luck, which I'll get into in a second. But So this waddle, this would place a nest, and let's say I'm playing the macaroni scientist. So I'll put my score marker on 0, and then I've got some nests. So I'll play that waddle down here in South Georgia Island because it's worth 20 points this season. So I place a nest, and every time you place a waddle, you consume 1 fish from that region. So that means eventually there's not going to be any fish there, right? So that's part of the hand management strategy, is you can manage your hand to get fish, to play places where there aren't fish. So let me show you what that looks like. We'll keep this waddle here. So let's say this is my hand. So I've got a waddle, right? But I have another card here that doesn't belong. So when I play that waddle, I have to put the extra cards back here in this is called the ice flow.
Okay.
So other people can draft them. And so let me show you how hand management works. So now I have 2 waddles in my hand, right? A 3, 4, 5 and a 1, 2, 3. If I have exactly 2 waddles, I don't have to throw those cards back. I can play both waddles and score points for both waddles.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's called Waddle Waddle. But if I have even 1 extra card, I cannot do the Waddle Waddle action. I have to throw all the extra cards back. So
it has to be exactly 2.
Right.
If you have any more than that, you
go
can play
waddle,
the
waddle.
1, but not.
Yeah, you
but
play
not
your
this,
best
but
waddle.
not the second one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So the hand management. So I mentioned fish. So if we look at your, you've got a player aid card here. If you kind of spread it out, that's the front and back. So give you 2 so you don't have to flip them over. So the first action you can do on a turn is you can draft. So you can take a face-up card from the ice flow, or you can take the face-down card if you don't like any of those. You can only have 9 cards maximum in your hand. If your hand is empty, which it will be after you play waddles, you can refill, so you get to draw 2 cards instead of 1. The restriction is one of them must be a face-up card. The second card can be face-up also, or it can be face-down.
Okay.
Do that in any order you want. So this 1 that I don't want in my hand, because it's keeping me from doing Waddle Waddle, I can go on a fishing trip, put it back in the ice flow, take one of these fish out of the sea, and put it in my hand. And so now, we'll pretend there's no fish here. Now I can play my waddle here, even though there's no fish. I just pay with the fish that's in my hand.
Okay.
There's a restriction, you can have 2 fish in your hand. So if you have 2 fish in your hand, you can't go fishing anymore.
Okay.
So there's not unlimited opportunities to make your hand better.
Right. It kind of gives you a private reserve of resources, almost.
A little bit. You have 2 fish, and that's it.
Okay.
Then there's one more way to make your hand better, and that is you can just exchange. So you can trade. So let's say I've got this hand, and I see I want that 3. And if I just took it, I would have an extra card, right? I wouldn't be able to waddle waddle. I can do an exchange, so I just trade it. But the price of doing an exchange is you're frozen. And that just means you can't do an exchange anymore until you play a waddle.
Okay.
Once you played your waddle, put the frozen back out here. So that just is a limit on the number of times you can improve your hand. So there's also an aspect to push your luck, right? So you've got a waddle. Can you make it better? Or can you push your luck and get 2 waddles? You can push it so far. If you go too far, you won't have enough opportunities to improve your hand, and you might get stuck with a bunch of cards that end up getting put back out here.
Right.
so Robot Quest Arena is our newest game. We're super excited about it. We're already sold out of the robot expansions here at Gen Con. It is a deck building game, but it also has a spatial arena battle aspect to it. So when you start the game, you have a starting hand which has battery cards, a jump jet which lets you move 2, and a hammer which lets you do an attack of 1. I'm just going to give you an example turn so we can kind of see how the robots move around when you're playing. So say I was drawing a hand and I was playing Petrie. Each of the bots have a bot card and they have a certain amount of health they start with, and they have a special ability. So for example, Petrie really likes to kill robots, knocks them out of the arena, because when Petrie knocks someone out of the arena, they get an extra victory point and they get to draw a card from their deck, which is great. Pug, which I usually play because he's pink, has the ability to spawn in this central blue area, and if you spawn here, you get an extra, if you're here at the beginning of your turn, you get an extra victory point. Basically all the bots start on one of these spawn points unless you're Pug, then you have the option to start in the middle here, which you pretty much usually will, except for, someone might push you into these tacks here. This is the market deck, so basically you're filling these spots as people buy from this. So similar to a game like Star Realms, as you play, you can use your resources like these batteries to buy things from the market deck on your turn. These 3 cards are always available until they run out, similar to how Explorers are available in Star Realms. So like the Advanced Battery will give you 3 energy, the Heavy Hammer does 2 damage. This little punching glove means you need to be next to the person, orthogonal to the robot. And then this is a ranged attack. The rivet gun hits for 2 range. So a range is, so if Pug was using the rivet gun, you would do 2 rings around him and he could hit anywhere in those rings with a rivet gun, for example. A couple other things, these special tiles, there's different tiles, I don't have all of them out, but there's special tiles that give you special abilities. If you're on one of the special tiles at the beginning of your turn, so say you were here and you were Strider, you could scrap a card. If you're here, you get an extra energy. If you're here, you get an extra health point. If you're here, you can draw a card and discard a card. So there's benefits. It helps. The robots have incentives to move around. We wanted to make it so there's always some action happening. You don't want people always running away, so there's a lot of reasons to move around. And these are barriers, so you can't shoot through a barrier. There's always like cards that make exceptions to these general rules. But yeah, so you have to kind of go around these when you're moving or you're attacking people. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you a turn. When the game, a lot of people ask what triggers the end of the game. So basically we're going to be moving around and attacking each other. The game ends when someone's knocked out and they respawn into the game, they refill their health points. And so they would take a blue cube and like 4 or 5 of these, depending on what bot they are. When there's no blue cube to take, then the game ends. That triggers the game to end. When someone goes to respawn and there's no blue cube, the game ends, and whoever has the most victory points wins. One of the nice things is when you do damage to a robot, you just take that damage. Say you hit me, you would just take it and that'll be a victory point for you. So it's a nice, simple, pretty simple to play. Kids are also loving it. Adults, kids, couples, people. The backers are getting their games now from our Kickstarter, and so many of them have played it multiple times. You know how many people get Kickstarter games and they kind of open the box and they look at it and they're like, this seems kind of complicated. Right. And they don't actually get through a game. They might like start to read the. I don't know about you guys, but. Yep. But with this game, like the rule book, I think the team did a really awesome job. You can read the rule book, and
it doesn't seem overwhelming.
It's not overwhelming. The games can be quick. If you want the game to be shorter, you can just start with less blue cubes. But people have said, I started with less blue cubes with my kids, and then when we were done, they wanted to play again. So it's pretty easy. The tiles, the one thing I want to mention is there is a page in the rule book that explains like what the tiles do. It's this page, so because that's one thing that you want to have handy when you're playing at the beginning, so you know. I mean, I know because I play this a lot. So, but for example, so I'll just move. So say I'm playing Petrie and I have this hand. So you're drawing hands of 5, and I have so I have 3 batteries here, which I can use to buy things or to move. I have a jump jets, which lets me move to, and I can move over obstacles like this. And I have a hammer, which hits for 1. So I'm gonna move here, and then I'm gonna push pug, which costs an extra. So it would cost me 1 to move, but I'm gonna push pug, so that'll cost me 2. So that's costing me 3. So I'm gonna use this 2 and this extra 1. I push pug in here, so by pushing pug I get a point. I damage him, and also pug landed on the tack, so that does an additional point. So I would take 2 points from pug. Now I have 2 victory points. Yeah, oh wait, I have a hammer left, so I'm gonna hit pug with the hammer, and I'm gonna get another victory point. And if I had additional energy, I could buy cards from the market deck as well. So a couple other things, like if you're playing 2-player, then you would each control 2 bots. Because when we were developing the game, if you each controlled 1 bot, it was pretty easy for a bot to kind of stay, a low conflict person to kind of stay away from you, and you couldn't like get them and attack them. So it plays awesome because you each have 2 bots, you have a single deck, and you can move your 2 bots around. So there's always tends to be someone nearby that if you want to attack, you can. And you can play, we have 2 additional expansion bots, so you can play 6 players on this board if you get the 2 expansion bots. We are sold out of the expansion bots, but we have it on our website, the bundle for the Gen Con price, which is $99 for the base game and the 2 expansion bots as a special.
Is there any discount if you still buy the base game? Go on the website?
I don't have that yet. We're doing a video here, so I'll talk to you after this. But yeah, so if people want that, they can get that on the website. But yeah, so we're excited that people have really loved it, and you know. We also have plushies here as well, and little pins.
I saw those here, adorable. Yeah.
When you first learn Kapow, we have what's called sidekick mode, where you're just playing with the base game board, and then after someone knows how to play, you can add the. Oh, sorry. Do you want to take a video? I'm sorry. Should I start?
You're fine.
Okay. So you can add the heroes and villains once you know how to play. So I'm going to show you in sidekick mode. And then if you guys want to hang out and play with the characters, you totally can. I'll show you how they work.
Okay.
So you're behind player screens. It's simultaneous play. You got these really cool dice. So each go ahead and roll your pool of dice there behind the screen. And now it's very easy. You're just going to place, you're going to match the icons on your dice to these positions on the board, and you have choices. You can attack your opponent, you can defend against attacks from your opponent. These immediate effects, you just say, hey, I'm doing this right now behind the screen, and let your opponent know. Power up gives you additional dice inside the dice, so your dice pool can grow for the next turn. And then after power up is you can do things like hurt your opponent if they did certain things during power up, basically. So if you want to go ahead and place your dice, that's the best way to learn, is to just go ahead and try it out.
Match all 4 of them that are in space? Or
yes.
Yeah. So we lift these up and say kapow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kapow! All right. And then there's the first player, which it could go to either person in this game, so we'll just go with you. We'll start with you. So you're attacking for 1. He's defending for 1, so he's not gonna lose any health. He's attacking for 4.
4.
And you have 3 defense, so you're gonna go down 1 health. And then you'll do your power up first. So first, the person with the most defense gets the first player token, so you're gonna keep it. It's good because when you go to this phase, you get first choice on dice. You get 2 copies of the face shown on the right, so you'll get 2 sides of the red punch. And you can put that on your
Nice. I love updating the dice.
And let's see. I think you also gain a non-wild face there, so you can pick any side that's not wild to add to your dice.
Okay.
And then you got an action die and any one non-wild face of your choice. that you can add to either of your
I can
dice.
add to. Okay.
Yeah, and you can move the sides around in between turns as well.
I love the look of this. It's so
Yeah,
fun.
cool, right?
Yes.
I love the character like that. I love her.
Yeah.
The art is really cool. That's
Like
one of the things
retro
that.
comic.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that kind of drew me to it in
And
the
they're
first
all
place.
unique. Like it's all original designs. It's not any intellectual property. It was a small publisher that did the first version, and we loved it. And we worked with them to redo the first version and do volume 2.
It looks awesome.
Doug, the lead designer, is a really cool guy. So when you're done getting your dice ready, then you put your screens up, you roll, and you go again.
And then go
Okay,
again,
cool.
and then it's
And
just
you keep going until someone's dead.
Yeah, I had to head
And that's
battle.
why the first player is important. Whoever has, when you go through the defense, whoever has more defense, you make sure they have the first player token. Because like last game I played, someone killed me before I got to finish my turn.
Oh no.
I was dead. So
We're First Fish Games, and this is Mistwind. In this game, you're a trade network or a trade company, and what you're doing is you're building trade networks, or you're moving cargo around from place to place in the new Mistwind Islands. I'm already messing it up. So, what I really like about this game is it combines the network building with the pick up and deliver. So normally when you move around from place to place, you spend resources. But as you're building these outposts out on the board to build the different networks to get points, you can actually use those outposts to move your whales for free. So it kind of almost feels like a resource management instead of a pick up and deliver, because you need to, manage how many resources do I have to go get the thing, and then I got to make sure I have enough to get back on the next turn, that kind of stuff. Or can I play my disc over here to get some resources so I can do that? But then, yeah, as the game accelerates and you get more and more outposts out, you start zipping around the board a lot more, so you can easily get to different areas and grab stuff for free and move stuff here and there and stuff. It also has a worker placement kind of style thing, so all the different sides of the board have different action spaces. Even these cards are all action spaces on either side, and they've all got numbers associated with them. And so you're going to have a set of discs numbered 1 to 5. At the beginning, everybody discards one, so you plan out which spots you want to use on the round. And then if, say, I wanted to use this 3 spot, I would have to put my 3 disc there, and then that lets me build in a specific spot on the board. Or if I put my 2 over here, this lets me get some resources that I can then use to build stuff later or buy cards with, that kind of stuff. So, and yeah, it's worker.
The numbers mean when you do it?
The number means where they can go. So you can do them in any order you want. And usually it's like, oh, that person, they probably want to take that spot. Should I take that early? But oh, maybe I want to get some resources first. But if I do that, then they're going to take that spot and I'm going to get blocked. Kind of your standard worker placement thing where
So once a place is taken, nobody else can
yeah,
go there?
there's one exception, which is down here. So this is where you spend your building resources to get stuff on the board. But there's a fun little twist to this. So multiple people can come here and build in the same area. But at the end of a round, once everybody's played all their discs, then whoever is on the top of the stack will get a special ability associated with each card. The last one in. So first player gets the advantage of having big open area and can go in any spot they want. But last player has better chance to get those abilities because they have a less chance of people blocking them.
Yeah.
Because yeah, everybody takes turns playing a disc, and then it comes back around to first player. They play discs around again. So you can get blocked, but the last player, their last disc is not going to get blocked on the last one if they played in those areas. So they have a better chance of doing that. But yeah, it depends. So a lot of times it's watching what people have played. So if you're earlier in the round, you can be like, okay, that person has played their 3, that person has not. I really want to use that 3 space because I want that ability. But is that person going to take that spot, or are they going to play it somewhere else, or did they discard it? And it's all the deduction about who's doing what and where they're going to go. It's like, oh, maybe they don't have the resources to do the thing from that 3 spot, so haha. Or maybe they're not building a route there. Maybe I'm safe. But then, oh no, they did it anyway. No. You play a number of rounds. You play 4 rounds, so everybody plays their discs. All these cards will clear out. Everybody play their discs again. Cards will clear out. You do that 4 times, and then whoever's got their most points in all the different trade routes that they get points for, all the different cargo that they've moved around. There's other awards or end game scoring cards that you can buy. There's a few different ways to get points, and yeah, once you and 4 rounds, whoever's got the most is the best trade baron in the Mistwind Islands. Thank you, yeah. I built these in Blender 3D package and had a friend print them out. The final version is going to be a 2-part plastic injection mold, so we're going to make them as close to this as we possibly can, but they might be a little bit different depending on different angles, because they're 2-part molds. You can't have like in cuts or it like tears it apart when you we are going to Kickstarter on Tuesday right after we get back from Gen Con. And then hopefully mid next year. It takes take 4 months for production and a few months for freight and shipping and stuff. So yes, that's the best part. You move around. I should have shown that. Yeah, so you move your whales around. You go to different ports, and you can load up that cargo. And then there's different spots on the board that tell you which cargo they want you to bring there. So you would spend your resources or move freely from outposts. And then you drop those off. You drop them off, and then you take the token, which is worth points. Yeah. There's some that are more in demand that get you extra bonuses. So as you take them, they'll shuffle down, so other things will become more in demand. Yeah, like kind of a little mini economy type thing going on. Yeah, so that is Mistwind.
When this one goes up, good. Is that your third action? Yeah.
Are you blocking me from doing stuff?
No. I left you there so you could transfer me together.
Should we both be on the mount?
Can we both be on the mount?
In a row. I'm going to shift these this way.
That comes back over.
Then, so that was action 1. Action 2, I'm going to journey my followers. That's how I move this guy, right?
You what?
Journey my followers, that's how I move.
Yeah, but he currently has nowhere to go because he can't swim.
I was going to say, I thought...
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay.
Never mind.
I don't know. You looked upset. And then I can't move this because I can only move tile sets of 3.
Well, that's a set 1, 2, 3.
Right, but if I move them, like I
You
can't
can move them this way.
Yes, but that would not make 2 fours crash into each other.
Certainly would not.
Right. So instead, I'm going to return my person from study. Where does he go when I do that?
Anywhere you want. When you return from study, I believe you get a bonus.
I get a bonus.
Tiles. Return from study. When followers return from study, they bring wisdom with them, which immediately is used to improve their abilities. A follower can return from study only if there is an unoccupied action space for them to return to. To return a follower from study, select a follower that are currently on the playmat, study space, or other sacred sites, and reassign it to an unoccupied space without performing that action.
Alright, hi everybody. It is Sunday. We are on our way home. And we're just kind of recapping some of the highlights of the different days at Gen Con this year. So, day 3, Saturday, we Jen and I went down and we demoed a game called Waddle Waddle. Well, yeah, can you waddle waddle? It's very much an Ethnos-inspired game with some cool little gamey twists to it, and it's all about like conservation, specifically around penguins, and you're trying to collect like different breeds of penguins to put nests in their specific habitats and everything. It was really neat, and the story behind it was really cool. The designer of the game took a trip to Antarctica with a friend of his, and they're both wildlife photographers, and all of the pictures on the cards of the penguins and a lot of the landscapes and things are all photographs that they had taken. And the game was really solid. It was, well, I'll get into a little bit later, because we played another Ethnos kind of inspired game, or Ethnos iteration, later that day. And so I'll kind of go over what I thought about that then. We met with Deborah at Wise Wizard. Took a look at Kapow and Robot Arena Quest. Robot Arena Quest looked super cute.
It's adorable.
The robots in it were like super like chunky robots, and it's basically an arena battler where you are moving around trying to knock other people out. And then we got to play a couple rounds of Kapow, which I guess in my head I had kind of thought about it a little bit more like Dice Throne, which I really like, but I really like Kapow also, but it's definitely different. This is more like a kind of a dice pool builder, where you are, so in Dice Throne where you're rolling Yahtzee style, this one you are collecting dice, or you are actually building dice, adding faces to a die, like you would see in Dice Forge, and using those dice to roll symbols, to fulfill recipes on your player board, to be able to do damage to your opponent and try to take them down to 0 health. Really fun, great art, super cool superhero theme to it. We bought Emerge from Pandasaurus. That's a really neat looking game about like land masses emerging from the ocean. It's got like these multi-level tiles that you'll put down, and then different shaped wooden bits for like trees and animals and things like that. Didn't get a close enough look at like the detailed rules of it. At least I didn't.
No, I'm a sucker for Pandasaurus games, so every con I will buy at least one Pandasaurus game, just because I really like the look of them.
Yeah,
and then we figure out later if we like it or not.
Yeah, they do have.
So what
have
made
nice
you go with
looking
Emerge over Machikoro 2 then?
Because I played Machikoro.
Because it wasn't Machikoro.
Fair enough. Sorry for you Machikoro lovers, but get Space Base.
Get Spachi Bachi. In the Hot Games Room that day, we played Archeos Society, which is the other Ethnos iteration. This one actually by Paolo Mori, who designed Ethnos. And it uses tracks instead of a area control mechanism. And I'm distracted by
the blinker
castle.
Oh, and a castle.
A castle-shaped McDonald's.
It's the only one in Michigan, or the United States. There's a sign.
Oh, you should get a video of that.
Right there. Look at that. that is a Castle McDonald's. I hope you can see it, because I can't see.
Get a Royale with cheese.
Royale with
So Archeos had tracks instead of like an area control map. And
It was exactly like Ethnos, except for that.
Felt exactly like Ethnos except for that. And the thing is, having played Waddle Waddle earlier in the day, although I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of the name Waddle Waddle.
Right.
Because I walked into it thinking this is going to be like some kids game or some like
funny
exploding kittens kind of type of game. But I preferred Waddle Waddle to Archeos Society.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for the Waddle Waddle promo, so I have no idea other than what I've heard. But it sounds
well. Would you agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't buy Archeos Society.
Yeah.
Because we have Ethnos, but I would buy Waddle Waddle, even though we have Ethnos.
So, Archeos Society just felt very much like Ethnos, with the exception of you are moving down tracks instead of placing out tokens on a map to control areas.
I think we did decide we're going to house rule Ethnos based on Archeos Society.
the simple draw change.
Right.
Makes sense.
So that was I agree. That was the one takeaway from Archeos Society was rather than drawing one card in Ethnos, like you do in Ethnos, in Archeos Society, when there are no cards in the market, you draw 2 cards. So it helps build up your hand a little bit faster, and it helps kind of drive that game timer also.
I think I would say if you own Ethnos, you don't need Archeos Society.
Right.
It's a good game, but it's 90% Ethnos.
Yes.
If you don't own Ethnos, I'd recommend picking it up because Ethnos is great and 90% of Ethnos is still pretty great.
Yep, agree.
Yep.
And the changes that they made weren't any worse. They were just different.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't bad. I think I was hoping for more of a change.
Yeah.
And that's why I came away from playing that a little bit disappointed, because I was hoping for a little bit more any kind of change to the feeling of the game, but I didn't get that. But with Ethnos being hard to find now, Archeos Society is a good second chance, or wait for Waddle Waddle. We also played Point City, which was what I thought it was a really cool iteration on Point Salad. It takes kind of the concepts of Point Salad and gamifies it a little bit more. Turns it into more of an engine building game rather than set collection, which I like.
Yeah, I will be buying Point City for sure. We just didn't rush to get it at the con because we could get it at our friendly local game store.
And my battery's about to die, so we're gonna quickly wrap up the last few. We played Make the Difference from Oink, and we played the Cascadia expansion.
Yep.
Cascadia expansion, I liked the landmarks, but I don't know that I would play with the more complex animal cards.
Agree.
Then we went to dinner at the Tap House. Tap House was awesome.
District Tap.
District Tap. Great service, great food. I can't work under these conditions.
I think everyone needs to change their shirt so it looks like it's a different day.
Yeah.